Hello and welcome to Camp, the Catholic Audiobook in a Month podcast. My name is William Wilson, and today is day 22 of The Little Way of Spiritual Childhood by Father Gabriel Martin. I will be reading the rest of chapter 7, that's section 2, which is page 91 through 94 in the paperback. The focus today is on prudence in abandonment. You will hear about being cautious about high aspirations, of closing your eyes to the future, and of being not rash or presumptuous. One definition for today, and that's the word circumspect, which is to be careful to consider all circumstances and possible consequences. So we hear about St. Therese being circumspect of certain high aspirations. Let's get started. Section 2. The Prudence of St. Therese in the Exercise of Holy Abandonment. St. Therese knew how to exercise always discretion and prudence in her little way. For more dangers than one are encountered therein, and it is necessary to be watchful against excesses which are always possible. It is thus that she showed herself circumspect in face of certain high aspirations, familiar to generous souls, which at first sight seem to come from the Spirit of God, but which are often nothing more than idle fancies inspired by self-love. We know of her great desires of immolation and her thirst for suffering. Nevertheless, feeling herself ever little and weak, even in the arms of the good God, she took care never to desire or to ask for greater sufferings than those which her Father in heaven destined for her. I would be afraid of being presumptuous, she avowed, and that those sufferings, having become then my own sufferings, I would be obliged to bear them alone. Never have I been able to do anything alone. And her abandonment never deviated from that characteristic of perfect simplicity which so well becomes the little child. With the same prudence, she closed her eyes to the future, and she encouraged little souls to do likewise. We who run in the way of love must never torment ourselves about anything. And through prudence as well as through love, her abandonment made itself voluntarily blind, so as to leave more completely to her Heavenly Father the care of watching and of providing for her every need. Yet there was not in that any of the timidity or apathy of a soul that gives herself up to carelessness through weakness and lack of energy. On the contrary, her confidence enabled her to find in abandonment an admirable courage. A prey to sickness, she wrote, "I have no fear of the last combats, nor of the sufferings of my malady, how great soever they may be. The good God has aided me, and led me by the hand from my tenderest infancy. I rely on him. I am sure that he will continue to help me to the last. I may have to suffer extremely, but I shall never have too much, I am sure." And her heroic patience, which never failed her even to her last breath, proved that she spoke truth. On the other hand, her abandonment had nothing of rashness in it. The same prudence which guarded her against discouragement preserved her likewise from presumption. This prudent virgin, who expected everything from the good God, knew that we must not tempt his providence, and that, while relying on his grace, we must also turn to it to use and second it. Being charged, notwithstanding her youth, with the instruction of the novices, she redoubled her abandonment. She placed herself like a little child in the arms of her father, and there, with her eyes fixed on him, she waited till he himself should fill her hand that she might give, as she said, food to her children. And without even turning her head aside, she distributed to them what came to her from God alone. But this union in no way lessened her vigilance or her clearness of judgment, nor did it make her retrench in any way the duties which Christian prudence imposes. She watched, observed, and studied souls, knowing well that they must not all be taken in the same way, and so, from her elevated post, nothing escaped her gaze. She watched very exactly over all the duties of her office. We have cited this example in order to show that abandonment, rightly understood, far from stifling the other virtues, rather develops them. And just as it does not annihilate prudence, so it does not lessen generosity. Listen to this song of a soul entirely surrendered to holy abandonment. Thee alone, Jesus, Thee and none beside. 'Tis to thine arms that I run to hide. As a little child would I fain love thee, as a warrior strive for victory. Of a child the delicate, tender love, my caresses, Lord, to thee shall prove, and in the field of my apostolate, my zeal in the fight shall ne'er abate. Saint Therese of the Infant Jesus is there whole and entire, humble and trustful, weak and ardent, entirely surrendered to abandonment and to love. And in this union of love and valor, of calm abandonment and of courageous action, consists the whole ideal of the little souls destined to become the victims of merciful love. Who would not aspire to its realization? So beautiful is it. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Tomorrow I will read the first half of Chapter 8 on zeal. If you have enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, rate, share, and help us grow. Also, please check out oratebooks.com for a paperback or Kindle version of this book. That's oratebooks.com. To learn more about us and for past episodes, please visit camp.fm. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.